It's a good track here. And so a few technical issues here. Let's hopefully we can keep this going. I'm going to try and invite Jar back to the party so that he can join me here in the commentary box. So, yes, Hungarian Grand Prix. I think we're still waiting for the drivers to get going. Hopefully they will start readying up very, very soon. And I think now joining me is Mr. Jar. Good evening.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we're back in Hungary. Not back. We're back in Hungary from an X2 race for the TATV League Twitch. A very, very exciting one, especially the first corner accident in the first lap. So we've got a normal lineup around 19 to 18 drivers. Matt, you're apparently not in spectator mode. So this will be interesting to see what's going on right now. Right.
Yes, I think we're missing a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to see who else we are missing. We've got both Mercedes in, both Red Bulls.
Yep.
I think it's one of the Williams, I think, from what I can see. No, the other Williams is in. I'm not quite sure who else is missing, but definitely one of the Ferraris.
And the Racing Point. The Racing Point is actually here, so I'm going to try to invite him into the game right now.
So yes, like you said, there's a lot of big first lap accidents here. It's happened a lot over the years in Hungary.
Yeah, definitely, especially with that that turn one in the X1. Apparently, one of the drivers had their brakes failed on them, and he ploughed into a few cars while they were turning towards the exit of that corner. Anyway, back in X2. Who do you think has the best chance out of all these drivers here to possibly get a podium or win?
Well, I mean, they had a practice session earlier on today, and from that we saw that Rickard was looking particularly strong, fastest of the runners, and quite a bit quicker as well than Dean and also Matt Anderson in the Mercedes was also up there. But I think it's going to be another racetrack where we've seen it a few times so far this season. It's very, very close in the midfield. I mean, we saw it in Germany, less than a second separated, I think, about 7 or 8 drivers at one point. So I think it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, yeah, this is definitely going to be close. So from the midfield, we can already see that there will be very, very small gaps between the drivers. We're just waiting for everyone to start getting prepared and readying up for Q1.
Yes, not quite sure what the delay is, but hopefully we'll get going soon.
Yep. Neil Swifty Pickles now in the lobby. We are just waiting for one of the Ferrari to be included in that roster.
Yes, so hopefully we can get going very, very soon.
Well, Matt seems to have some sort of accident. Matt, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, that just happened out of nowhere. Anyway, so we do have a reserve driver going to the Ferrari now. Sorry about the 10-minute delay of the race. So once again, we got this new reserve driver called Randoms, his name is.
His name's Derek.
His name's Derek. Okay, so finally, after 10 minutes, we are going to get started for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Indeed, we are. And usual 3 parts of qualifying. We lose 5 in the first part. Let's see who is going to be going out. We've had 2 good races here so far this weekend already.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see what happens here. First race was affected by the rain. So let's see what happens here. Can you go and put it on? Okay, so just wait for the last couple of players to ready up.
Yep.
And we can finally get qualifying 1 underway.
Right. So qualifying 1 started. We've got one new driver in the roster today, whose name is Derek Randoms in the GT world. Anyway, so we got after this we do have a 1-week break for the transfer window. This will be interesting to see where each X2 driver goes. And qualifying 1 is underway.
Indeed it is.
Multiple cars going out immediately. I see a Ferrari going out as well first. And that
And I think
is
there's a Renault
Pipoloni.
also. Yes, and I think there's also a Red Bull heading out as well. Both Red Bulls, in fact, coming straight out on the pits. That's Dean and Rian Fori also heading straight out.
Yep, Pipoloni is the first one to go out on track. Of course, he did get a podium from 14th in Germany last week. From 14th on the grid.
Yes. And only the second race for Ferrari, of course. He's having started the season with Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he started the race in Alfa Romeo and then switched to Ferrari after Ben Green left the team after some issues going on in the league. And yeah, so Pipoloni seems to be quite fast, quite fast actually. So it'll be interesting to see where he would be in Q1. Of course, we know that.
Yeah, he had a
roster
difficult
is
qualifying
very
in
tight.
Germany with the weather, didn't he? One of the few drivers who got pulled out with the weather in Germany. That's why he had to come back through the field. So it looks like a completely dry qualifying. So let's see what he can do now in sort of normal conditions compared to what we had in Germany.
Yeah, definitely. As Pipoloni goes to the second last corner, and then through the final corner to start his first flying lap of the session, and the Yaris able to start his flying lap. We've got the
I'm
two
not quite
Red
sure what
Bulls
the yellow
right
flag
behind
was
him.
in sector 3, but maybe it's just a car trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, we've got two Red Bulls
That Ferrari
lined up.
does look good though.
Yep. As the two Red Bulls go across the line to start their flying laps as well. We have Fore who got a podium in X1 and Meet Dean who got a podium last race in Germany. Of course, both Meet Dean and CJ Allen are both reserve drivers, with CJ Allen last time in Germany in the Mercedes and Meet Dean in the Ferrari. Oh, it seems that Dean is letting his teammate go by, Rian Foro, and multiple others as well.
Yes, and with it being this kind of racetrack, it's quite a slow racetrack. It's difficult to get yourself that window where you're in a nice clean piece of racetrack. It's very easy to get yourself in the way of others when you're trying to just get yourself prepared for your own lap. It happened to me actually in Talk of the Devil on Saturday. I ended up being knocked out of qualifying because he's just trying to keep out of everyone. And David Edgar has been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way. Maybe he spun somewhere and tried to recover to the racetrack and ended up driving the wrong way. But Pete Poloni goes fastest on the 17.9. Michael Savage, who had a brilliant qualifying in Germany, but had a terrible race. Both racing points had a terrible race. He goes second. Fraser McKenzie goes into third place. So there are initial pace setters.
Yep, Thomas Edwards going through to cross the line as well. He goes third with 119.5. Also, Rian Foro with 129.8. Of course, that is a slowdown that time. I'm guessing he will be going to the pits. I will start his flying lap right now.
Yes, and Ken's gone fastest in the Toro Rosso on 17.3. That's a good lap. That's a very good lap there. As Andy Ship goes third.
Randon's Derek goes second with Kieran Knight going ninth for a 120.4.
Matt Anderson's gone second as well, a 17.4. John has gone seventh on a 19.0. So all the lap times start to come thick and fast. Here's Dean in the Red Bull. He is yet to set a lap time, but he's on his lap now. Another yellow flag in sector 1. Not quite sure what's happened there. Maybe just someone trying to get out of the way again. But John could be one to watch. He was really buoyed he made it out of Q1 in Germany, and it really did give him some confidence. So he could be one to watch as through this session here, at least, as Dean crosses the line to go fastest. Look at that, 17.1. Great lap from him.
Yeah, great lap from him. Although if that's sector 2, who could be, I think it's just Castle. Actually, Andy seems just letting a car go by.
Oh, there's contact.
There's contact.
Sorry, that was Andy Ship there was slowing down. I think it was Kieran Knight right behind him. And indeed he was. And Bryce Faulkner came round the corner completely unsighted and went into the back of the pair of them. So can't really put any blame onto Bryce Faulkner there. He was on his qualifying lap, and those two were just going very, very slowly on their way back to the pit. So could be a bit of discussion about that after the race.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And Bryce Faulkner had to go straight back into the pits.
Yeah, as the other Mercedes down in 18th goes to the final corner to end his fast flying lap, and he goes with the RS activated now, and he goes with a 118.2, 6th place so far in this session.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit wide in the last couple of corners. I think he can find a little bit more yet from that. Rian Foro must have made a mistake somewhere, because he's down in 14th at the moment on 29.8, so a lot more to come from him yet. Yep, still a few cars yet to come out. Jeremy and Neil and Rickard's only just gone out, but Jeremy and Neil still yet to go out.
Yep, as Pete Poloni also goes out for his outlap as well.
Yes, Rian's heading back out of the pits. He's gone out on the same set of tyres as well, interestingly, so he obviously feels he can get some purchase from that. As Ken goes fast, look at that lap time, a 17.0 on his third lap on that set of tyres as well. That's a very good lap time.
This is going to be interesting, but however, we do have Chris Allen and Ricard going out for their outlaps. Also with that Germ.
Immediately off the track as well as he comes out the pit. So
yep, CJ Allen.
CJ Allen in the McLaren. He is just about to start his first flying lap. Had a couple of brilliant races, and let's see if he can keep that form going here. Down into turn 1, hard on the brakes, about 65 miles an hour on the apex, another DRS zone as you continue sweeping right, back up to about 175, then down for 65 miles an hour on the apex of turn 2. Turn 3 these days, absolute acceleration zone. It used to be quite a daunting corner, but it's absolutely flat these days. turn 4, flick down a couple of gears, about 140 miles an hour through the apex, and turn 5, avoid the curb at all costs on the inside there. That will just instantly spin you round. Then this very, very tricky chicane down to 60 miles an hour on the slowest, probably the slowest corner on the circuit actually. Then this series of S's that just get this last one about 115 miles an hour there.
Yeah, I'm just watching Ricard right now. He seems to be on an okay lap as he is going to end sector 2. And yeah.
CJ now is coming into the last corner, a little bit wide on the 8. Oh, he's lost the back end, so nearly spun round there, but somehow corrected it, so he will have a slower lap. But he still manages to go 8th. He must have lost at least a second there in that slide in the final corner. He had to gather it up.
Yep, Ricard
still manages to stick it in 8th.
Through the final corner. As he activates DRS, what time will he get? He will get a 1:17.757. Good lap time from him.
Crucial race, I'd say here for Ricard. He's had a couple of strong qualifiers, but he always seems to get caught up in incidents in the race. And like you said, with the transfer window coming up, he needs to put in a strong result. Jeremy, I think, has abandoned his lap. I saw him taking a lot of curb through the chicane, and now he's backed out of it altogether. So I think Jeremy may have had his lap time inactivated. Bryce Faulkner back out again. See if he can do a lap. He is on one at the moment, as is Neil in the Racing Point. Oh, very wide there from Neil. Tried to take the, I think that's turn 9, absolutely flat, and almost completely ran out of road. He's actually got front wing damage.
To set a lap time of, doesn't set a lap time, I think his lap time was invalidated.
Yeah, so Neil's got some damage in the Racing Point. Not sure what's happened to him, that's why he ran so wide. He's got some front wing damage, so he must have been off the track somewhere. Bryce Faulkner coming through the last corner. He's one of the last to set a lap time, along with Jeremy and Neil. Where can he go as he crosses the line to go up to 11th on a 1:18.7? But again, look how close it is there in that midfield battle. There's only half a second separating 9th and 13th at the moment. It's very tight in the midfield.
It spins out on the wrong right-hander. Very, very easy to spin out there if you go on the curb. He's already ruined his flying lap.
Yeah, just catch the curb there and he will just spit you around. Caught me out a couple of times through the races this weekend. As Thomas Edwards was delighted in the X1 race to come home in 6th place, his strongest result of the season so far. And he's abandoned his lap. Yes, and Fraser McKenzie in the Williams. Again, a couple of quite stronger qualifying results, but he seems to have gone backwards in races a few times this season. Let's see what he can do this time.
As that germ activates his ERS across the line again, he goes 1:19.6. Not enough to beat Thomas Edwards up into 15th.
No, bottom 4 at the moment. It's Jeremy, Fraser McKenzie, Kieran Knight in the Renault, and Neil in the Racing Point. Also, David Edgar has been disqualified. So that's the bottom 5 at the moment. Jeremy's going to find about 0.3 of a second to get himself up into the top 15. Fraser McKenzie's about a tenth and a half behind that. So he's just about to start his flying lap. Top 8 all in the pits, as Michael Savage did improve a little bit there to move up to 12th position. Oh, and Fraser McKenzie runs wide in the final corner of his outlap. That is not going to set him up well for the start of his flying lap. Let's see if it has affected him. Neil back out of the pits again in the Racing Point. And Fraser taking a very wide line there coming out of turn 1. And it's sort of giving him a narrower angle into turn 2. But nice and early on the throttle out of turn 2.
Yellow flag sector 2.
Diagonaling the... he's a 10th down though so far as Fraser. He needs to find about 4/10 to move up out of the drop zone at the moment. He is 17th. As he's just gone past one of the Toro Rossos. I think that was Bryce Faulkner on recovering back to the pits. Let's see here. The
through
Williams
the
is
left
not
and
looking too
right.
bad. Looks a bit understeery, that Williams.
Yeah, looks
But
very,
it's
very
not-
understeery. As Michael Savage sets goes a 117.7 on really, really good lap time from it. Actually, didn't expect that after his spin on the long right hander. Yeah, well done from him. He beats Rico
Yeah,
and
he's-
Rianforo.
Yeah, his qualifying's definitely improved, hasn't he? We saw him quickest in Q2, didn't we, in Germany?
Yeah,
And he does seem to be improving his lap time. Fraser McKenzie does improve, but not by an awful lot, and he remains in 17th position. He improves by about 300ths of a second altogether.
Yep, as Mr. Smee, Johnny Davis, goes out for his third flying lap of the session. So this is going to be interesting, especially Neil, who's now setting a lap time now, who's basically one of the
And
last-
also, interestingly as well, Thomas Edwards, who's only just through at the moment. He's in 15th. He's gone out on the same set of soft tyres, so obviously feels he can find some purchase from them. But that's an interesting one, because we saw, didn't we, from the X1 race, after 5 or 6 laps, those soft tyres were just falling apart. And cars
Yeah.
are usually very, very quick, where we're losing 2-3 seconds a lap with those soft tyres. So,
whoever can go through in Q2 with the mediums definitely has the advantage from the race, especially moving from one tyre to the other, or one stop from mediums to hards. As Neil goes for the final corner, getting some assistance from the Renault in front, and he goes third with a 117.2. Great lap time from him.
yeah, once again, very strong qualifying pace from the Racing Points, isn't it? A lot of curve there for Thomas Edwards in the McLaren as he's coming through to complete his lap. He's in the second to last corner. Very difficult corner, and he's abandoning the lap, so he's pitting. So he's got about 3 minutes, just under 3.5 minutes to go. He might just have enough time to get a new set of tyres on there and get back out there. Fraser McKenzie did not improve. He's at 121.0. He looks like he might be going again though. So, well, I mean, that's at least 6 laps of fuel he'd have had in the car. He's slightly up in the first sector, but he might be better off there coming in and just emptying the tank really and having as minimal amount of fuel in as possible there. That might have helped him. So he needs to find about 4/10 to move up. A lot of oversteer, so nearly into the wall coming out of the chicane. How did he not hit the wall there? I will never know. And he seems to have lost some grip, maybe overheating tyres. Comes out onto the back strain. Yes, he's well over a second down.
And Scott goes out for his second, I don't know what flying lap it is, but he goes for his flying lap, probably his last flying lap of the session. Yellow flags is
Oh, Kieran Nice missed the pit lane. Just about gets it in, but he tried to get into the pits and almost understeered out of the pit lane. So, got to say at the moment, the one surprise down there in the bottom 5 is Jeremy in the McLaren. We saw him a couple of races ago, had great speed. And I'm quite surprised to see him down there. I didn't see his lap. I don't know about you, Jar, but I don't know if he made a mistake in there. But I'm quite surprised to see him down there in 17th position.
I was watching him for the Sector 3 and he did go up the gears way too quickly. He didn't put up the revs for it. He's putting up the revs definitely now though. So I think his first lap was a sighter lap and he's definitely putting in the work right now. He seems to be going pretty
2 cents
fast.
up in the first sector.
Yep,
Thomas Edwards has also gone out on a brand new set of soft tyres, as has John in the Williams. He's currently on the bubble. He's in 15th position. What can he do on this lap? A little bit wide in the final corner, but he'll get a good slingshot.
117 point. Wait, what? Oh no. Wait.
He said that a little while ago. Jeremy coming through. He's 8 tenths up here is Jeremy. So at the moment that will put him. Well, only just put him through. At the moment that's good enough for 15th.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, I don't know, maybe he might be in the final sector last time around. Let's have a look. If he comes through the final corner, very wide on the curb, coming out the final corner, but he goes, yes, he jumps right up there. He goes into 12th on an 18.2. That, well, not guaranteed to be safe. Andy Shipp also gone out on a set of soft tyres.
Yeah, Thomas Edwards also said a flying lap as well. So this is
he's 2 cents up in the first sector. He needs to find about 6 tenths to get himself into Q2 at the moment. He's in 17th. There's a Mercedes way off the track there, getting out of the way of Thomas Edwards. Ran completely onto the grass through turn
it looks
2.
like Andy Ship has just spun out on his outlap.
Oh, and Thomas Edwards very wide in turn 4. Now, I don't know. That might have disallowed his lap. There were some people in X1 that were running very wide.
There is a lot of spinning going on right now with the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo of Andy Ship. The Mercedes.
Thomas Edwards is all over the place trying to desperately find those extra few hundreds, but he's running off the track left, right, and centre. He's a fraction up on his own best. Qualifying is now over, but all those who are on their lap are allowed to finish them. But I think Thomas Edwards will be kicking himself here because he was looking quick enough and he's made a lot of errors, especially in the middle part of his lap. So let's see what he can do here through the final corner. Does he improve? The only other person on his lap is Jeremy, but I think he's coming in. But Thomas doesn't improve.
Yeah,
he was slightly down, and I think Jeremy's on. And Jeremy spun.
Yeah,
Jeremy has spun. I'm trying to see where that is. That is on the little back straight, I think, coming out of turn 11. Yes.
Yeah,
so he must have just caught a bit of grass.
Yeah, I was about to say that Jeremy did spin out on the wrong right-hander again. So I think he might have overheated his tyres or something that might have caused him to spin a lot. Anyway, that's the end of Q1. We've got the cars eliminated. David Edgar, Kieran Knight, Fraser McKenzie, Thomas Edwards, and Bryce Faulkner. Bryce Faulkner is the shocking one that is out in Q1. He was going very, very well in Britain and France and Canada before this. Of course, he didn't make Germany because he was at a friend's house, but of course, that is a shocking exit from Bryce Faulkner.
Yes. But look how close it is there. 0.02 of a second between him and John in the Williams. So John will be delighted. Second race in a row, he's made it into Q2. But 0.02 of a second in it. That is as close as you can possibly get there.
Yeah, definitely. Right, now into Q2. The strategy will be very, very, very peculiar, this one, because people would want to start on the medium tyre, but the mediums, as it's probably shown, is definitely slower than the softs around here, especially the softs with the extra grip. So whoever can get on the mediums into the top 10 will definitely have an advantage going into the race.
Yes, I think if I'm right, I think there's actually a gap between, I think it's a C1 and then the C3. So
Dean has gone out for his outlap as well.
I think there's a compound gap between the softs and the mediums, which is why the softs are so much faster, but are wearing out so quickly. I think there's a Red Bull gone out.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Yes, Dean's gone out on the track.
Medium tyre as well.
And I've lost sound at the moment, so apologies to anyone watching my stream that I've lost sound for the cars. This happened to me in Germany, but it was fine for the race, so hopefully it will be the same here.
Yeah, definitely.
But a few cars heading out.
I'm just looking at the tyre fitted, and most people have gone out. Looks like set their tyres at the medium tyre. Of course, there are 15 minutes in this session, so of course there is more than enough time to switch to soft tyre when needed. But only 1, 2, 3,
yes, but the medium tyres is what you want to be on here, isn't it? Because we saw from both races, the medium tyres are lasting very, very well here. So it's definitely mediums you want to be on. But of course, as we saw in Germany, if you go out on the medium tyres, you might not be quick enough, especially with the compound gap between the two. You might not be quick enough, and someone might just knock you out of qualifying.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting. So we got Dean here going past the second last corner, then to the last corner to start his fly lap. Two cars on the outlap right now with Andy Ship and John seem to be going out on the soft tyre immediately rather than starting on the medium. So this will be interesting. I was just going to say to you actually, Joe, it's interesting here. Out of the 15 cars in Q2, only 4 at the moment have opted for the soft tyre. So they're all clearly feeling the same, that the mediums is the way to go. Yeah, definitely. Especially some drivers here who drove in the X1 race earlier today, that the soft tyres can go off quickly, like 5, 6, 7 laps. So this will be interesting as Dean goes through the first sector to set 27.2, and then
not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad on the medium tyre. and going through the very, very hard chicane. You have to get your braking point correctly here, otherwise you're off. They're in sector 2, probably a car going by. Oh no, well, Ricard, yeah, Ricard just laying. Probably Dean going by. Oh no, it seems like he's lost his front wing.
Yes, I want to see if I can find him.
Yeah, he's got
Yes,
a broken
Ricard's
front
got
wing.
some damage. Yes,
I
he's
think,
definitely got some damage there, but he's back in Sector 1, so I'm not quite sure why the yellow flag was in Sector 2 there. He's only just going through Sector 2 now, so Ricard, yet more problems for him, I'm afraid. He just seems to get involved, doesn't he? He seems to have the speed, because he's always there or thereabouts on raw lap times, but he just seems to get himself involved.
As he
in
crosses the line to
incidents.
go a 118.3. We don't know how.
Oh,
good
and the
that lap
Williams
time-
has spun. John has spun up at turn 4. Just got on the curb on the inside a bit too hard, and he's gone into the wall. That might be what happened to Ricard. But John has spun it, bounced off the wall. He's lost half his front wing.
Yeah.
Lucky to get away with that, really. The angle he went in, I thought his front tyre was going to come off. As Pete Polini goes fastest.
With Randall,
two
Derek
cars.
setting a 119.0.
Yes, so 2 cars, it appears, have become victims to that turn 4. It is a very bumpy curb there on the inside, isn't it? You've got to catch it just right, or it's very, very easy to spin you off into the wall there.
Yeah, so this will definitely be interesting. So we've got Johnny Davis starting out on his right
Sorry,
lap as well.
Ken only just avoided that Williams. Williams was going very, very slowly on the inside of turn 11, and how did Ken not collect him? I have no idea. It looked like millimetres between the 2 cars there. So I don't know if that has cost Ken any time. We'll see soon as he comes across the line. He's coming through the last corner now. He's also gone for the medium. Only 2 cars now have gone for the soft tyres. That's Andy and John. As Ken goes second on an 18.2.
As John goes into the pits, understandably after slipping on his tyres. I think he may have lost some grip when going over the curb on the little left kink going towards the long right-hander after the little straight in turn 3. Anyway,
Oh, and Andy Ship spun again. Andy Ship has spun again. I was just going to say, I think he had some damage to his front wing anyway, but he was continuing, but he's just spun coming out of the chicane, just caught the curb on the inside of the second part of the chicane a bit too hard and straight into the tyres. So he is going to be able to recover from that, but he's got 9 minutes to get back to the pits, put on another set of tyres, and go again.
Yeah,
But,
just saying that
a lot of cars are struggling here with the curbs, aren't they? We're seeing a lot of spinners here.
Yeah, the curves around here are definitely treacherous, especially that long right-hander. You can get your right front tire very easily caught on that, and there's no chance for you on stopping that. It will be a definite spin, as Rianfori does go on 190.9 as he loses his rear going towards the right-hander once again. So yeah,
I'm going
lots
to
of
try
cars.
and see if I can ride on board with a driver, see if we can see those the danger points really with the curves. We're on board with Matt Anderson in the Alfa Romeo. Again, turn 2, you don't really touch the curb there either. Turn 3, take a lot of curb on the way through. And this is one of the danger points here. Up into turn 4, if you catch a bit too much curb there, you'll either be spat out wide or spin. And the turn 5, you completely avoid the curb on the inside, as he now passes Johnny Davis on his slowdown lap through the chicane. Got to catch these curbs right. They're raised at the edges, and then the curbs here through these S's are actually quite nice to ride over if you get them right. Actually help the car turn a little bit if you catch them absolutely right. Interestingly though, he's not attacking the curbs as much as I thought he would. He's not really through the S's. He almost avoided the curbs there. Turn 12, nice bit of curb there into turn 13. And again, close to the curb, but you don't really touch it. And the same in the final corner. Run it very close to it, but you don't really go on it because it will unsettle the car. As Matt goes across the line, look at that. 1:18.163. He goes fastest.
Yeah, great lap
we
time
were
from
riding
him.
on board for that lap as well. So that was perfect timing, really.
Yeah, great lap time from him, 1:18.63. Only about 33 hundredths away from Pete Poloni, who I've got to say is quite fast, considering he's about a tenth away from Ken.
Yes, and interestingly here, John in the Williams has gone out on a set of mediums. Maybe he's run out of soft tyres. Maybe that's the only option he had, or maybe he's hoping to get through. But I mean, I think he did use 2 sets of softs in the first part of qualifying, so, and then of course he had a pair that he spun off on, so he might be out of soft tyres, brand new soft tyres anyway. So
You're just saying
let's
that,
see what
and
he
the
can do on the
ship
mediums.
goes out on another set of soft tyres as well. Just saying that. Ricard's go through the second sector on the medium tyre. So this will be interesting because we know that Ricard is quite fast around here considering the practice session times. As he goes on to sector 3, which there is a yellow flag for actually. But that's disappeared now.
Yes,
So,
Neil crosses the line, and he look at that, Neil, a 1:17.3. That's an excellent lap time from the Racing Point.
I think the other drivers are going to notice that and start going on the soft tyre. Yep, Ricard just going to the soft
Ricard
tyre.
goes second. That's I have to say though, that's a very good lap time from Ricard on the medium tyres.
Yeah, 6/10 up on Max.
Only quarter of a second.
That is
only quarter of a second slower than the Racing Point. So yeah, very well done there for Ricard.
I think Ricard's lap time
out the bad.
Yeah, as you can see from the tyre switching, round 4 Michael Savage has switched onto the soft tyres. Michael Savage actually going out of the pits to start going out on the soft tyre. So,
but again, look how close this is here. Look at this. Between 3rd and 11th, there's less than a second. It is so close in this midfield. I mean, this is what I've loved commentating on this X2. It's just how close it's been. We've had 5-6 cars up front fighting for the lead. We've had qualifying that's changed before us, left, right and centre. It's just such a competitive league. It's actually a joy for me to commentate on this, as it is absolutely brilliant racing between them all.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a joy racing, commentating in X2. Michael Savage going out on the soft tyre. Round 4 is staying in the pits, still equipped with the soft tyre on, just seeing what tyre each person is fitted on. So Neil setting a 117.35. He seems to be out of fuel. Yeah, that was a good lap time for him, but Ricard, I think, is the standout show around here. 6/10 faster than Matt on the medium compound tyre. I think that might be enough to go into Q3. With also Matt now switching to the soft tyre, just in case if he goes out. Yeah, so
as John crosses the line, John does a 19.6. Still not quite enough, I'm afraid. He's 13th at the moment. Bottom 5, just very, very quickly, bottom 5. Derek is 11th in the Ferrari, but he's gone back out again. Jeremy is 12th in the Mercedes. We've got John in 13th in the Williams. Johnny Davis is 14th in the Haas. He'll be looking at this lap time of his teammate and wondering how he is nearly 3 seconds slower. And Andy Shipp, I think he had his first lap disallowed. He's out on a set of new soft tyres. He's already done 1 lap on them, so I think he did have his first lap disallowed. He's coming up behind the Williams. Oh, and Andy Shipp spun again. And the Williams has spun us again. They've connected in the middle. Wow, that's unbelievable.
5-place grid penalty for John. That is...
I've got to say, that's a harsh penalty, because what I could see of it, John spun in turn 4 and Andy spun in sympathy, and they connected somewhere in the middle. So a little bit of a harsh penalty, I'd say, for John. But yes, Andy now trying to rush back to the pits, and he's just going as quick as he can. He's got 3.5 minutes. It's going to be a quick turnaround for him to get back out. But it's not going well for Andy, is it? He's had a couple of difficult qualifying. He's qualified at the back in Germany. And he's having troubles again here. So, looks like technical issues for Bryce Faulkner as well. But, yes. As Derek now comes across the line in the Ferrari, can he improve? He does. He goes 7th. But this is going to be the thing to watch, I'd say, here. If drivers decide to go onto soft tyres, you might, the likes of Matt Anderson there in 3rd place might be sat there quite happy in 3rd. But you only need 4 or 5 drivers as Michael Savage goes 3rd.
Yep, with a set 117.6 basically. So this will definitely be interesting. If everyone sets a lot to lap time on the soft tyre and goes faster than at least a 118.1, then people who have stayed on the medium compound tyre and are committed will definitely be in trouble. But most people have seen that are not actually going on the soft tyre yet. As Ken sets the soft tyre along with Matt. Now Rian Fori's going
Yes,
out
I
on
think
the soft
Rian
tyre.
Fori might be about to go out. He's just changed
Yeah.
to soft tyres.
Yeah, he's
So I
just
think
did.
because he's right on the bubble, isn't he? He's there in 10th position. The other one that surprised me as well is Scott. Both Mercedes really down in 11th and 12th place. I mean, Scott's back out there on the same set of medium tyres, seeing if he can improve. It's going to be tough for him because if he doesn't improve, then he will be out of qualifying. He won't have enough time to come back to the pits and come back out again. It's less than 2 minutes to go now. But he only needs to improve by 15 thousandths of a second to go into 10th place. That's how tight it is. And his first lap, he's 2.5 seconds down in the first sector. So he's obviously going to have a slower lap.
I mean, I think it's
Ken
doing a
has
cool
gone
down
out.
lap. Yeah,
Yes,
Ken
Ken
has
has gone out on a set
tyre.
of soft tyre. So he's obviously feeling the pressure. Can't go too slowly. He's only a minute and 15 to go. He is going. As Jeremy's retired.
What happened to
Jeremy must have spun out somewhere. I'm going to try and see if I can see where that is. But Jeremy has retired from qualifying. So he is at best going to be 12th on the grid. And who knows who might improve behind him. Johnny Davis is on his... He has improved a little bit. He's on a 120.1 on those medium tyres.
Yep, we have Rory getting ready to start his lap time. Yep, he goes through the final corner to activate the RS and start his line lap on the soft tyre. Ken also going out for his out
I'm just
lap.
looking at Andy's ship, just really pushing, trying to make sure he gets himself in on the lap. Now, can he finally have a lap that's undisturbed? He's had a couple of attempts here in qualifying, and can he finally get a lap in? I'm looking at his front wing. I don't know if he's been off already. It looks like a tiny bit of damage on his front wing there. So, but anyway, one chance now for Andy. Rooted to the bottom. At the moment, the bottom 5 is Scott in the Mercedes. Jeremy is out. We've already seen him out of qualifying. John in the Williams, Johnny Davis and Andy Ship. They're the drivers who are currently going out, as Andy's nearly 4 tenths up in the first sector. So hopefully this time for him, he can set a competitive lap time. He's on a 147.9 at the moment, is his best lap. So definitely be looking to improve on that. A 118.7 at the moment will be enough to get him through. Rian Fori here. The only person who can knock him out is Andy. So if Andy doesn't improve, don't be surprised to see Rian actually quit the lap so he can guarantee he starts on those medium tyres as opposed to the soft tyres. But
he's committing though.
4...
He's committing and he goes fastest, definitely. 117.1 from him. Andy's ship, however, is going to go through the final corner once again to activate the RS for the final lap of Q2. And he goes...
Can he get in? Yes, he does! He goes 9th.
So if Ford didn't set his lap time, he'll definitely be out of Q2. So good job from him setting a lap time.
I would say as well there, Jar, is CJ Allen's been knocked out now.
CJ Allen's been knocked out.
Yes, nice. I saw when Rian Fori jumped up, I saw CJ was on the bubble, and now CJ has been knocked out. So the 5 cars out of qualifying, CJ Allen in the McLaren, both Mercedes, incredibly, start 12th and 13th. When was the last time we saw Mercedes only qualifying 12th and 13th? John in the Williams, but he's got that 5-place penalty, bit of a harsh penalty, I'd say. And Johnny Davis, 15th in the Haas. So they're the 5 out. Derek will be pleased. His first qualifying, and he makes it through. Only just, but he made it through in 10th position. Let's see what they can do now. Q3, softest tyres possible, and minimum fuel possible as well.
Yeah, the real shock in Q2 is that CJ Allen is out of the session after winning in Germany, after a dominant win in Germany. He was like 15 seconds out from second place, most likely, and he's out.
It's what we were saying, wasn't it, earlier on? You know, you only need a couple of drivers in the top 10 to switch to those soft tyres, and you can be out. You can be sat in the middle of the top 10, feeling quite happy about yourself, and it takes one person or a few people and that's what's happened to CJ. So he's going to start 11th on the grid here.
I see both Ferrari cars garages getting ready out as Michael Savage goes out of his garage to start his
Yes,
first
I think
outlap.
Ricard as well has gone out. Yes, Ricard. Ricard's gone out.
Yeah, everyone's
Yes,
going
so they're
out.
all piling out the pit. So Andy Ship's the first one. We could have a bit of Monza in real life here. If are they gonna slow down and try and get a slipstream from each other? Who knows?
No, it seems like Michael Savage is the leading car out right now. He's the first car out on track with Matt right behind him, and just a whole train of cars. Ken, Pete Poloni, and randoms. So
they're all trying to.
They do all
yeah, they're going to try and get a bit of space because it's crucial here, isn't it? Because of the nature of the track, a lot of corners, especially the S's through the middle of the track. Any dirty air, and you'll really lose a lot of time.
Yep. So Michael Savage
and Andy Ship, it looks like, is actually catching up to Michael Savage, and Ricard's gone through, so Ricard now will be the first car across the line. Michael Savage is taking it easy on his outlap, whereas Ricard is pushing it a little bit more.
Yeah, Matt's in the Alfa Romeo starting his outlap as well. I think the first person to go across the line will be...
Oh, it will be Matt, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it will be Matt going through the final corner, and now the whole Gaggle cars start their flying lap, so this will be a shotgun fire of times. Right, so...
Yes, get ready for this. We had this in Germany, didn't we? Get ready for it once again.
Yep. So we got Matt out first, goes wide in turn 1 with Ricard right behind him, and Michael Savage going through the turn 1 right now. Ken going down turn 1 again, just saying that, and there are multiple cars out here right now. Randoms going to hit turn 1 as well. We've also Matt going down into the chicane.
Very, very quickly, Charles. Who's your tip for pole position?
Ricard was fastest in the practice sessions, but we know that qualifying can be unpredictable, especially with how close each driver is to each other. As Matt goes through to end sector.
I think his lap's been disallowed. He's turned off ERS, so I think his lap has been disallowed. I think he's cut a corner somewhere. So it could be Ricard, the first man to set a lap time.
Yep,
Yellow flag in sector. Yes, he's pulled right out of the way there. That was Matt letting Ricard through. Nice and sporting there from Matt in only his second race.
Yep, Ricard goes through the final corner to activate DRS. Ooh, there's a oversteer.
So and nearly into the wall.
117.2.
But he still does 17.2. That's a great lap.
The next car on track is Michael Savage. He goes a 117.6. Who's the next car out on track? It's Ken. Ken goes a 116.5.
He goes fast. Look at that. That's the quickest lap time we've had in qualifying so far. Ricard's gone.
Yep, as Derek goes across the line to go 117.3. Yep, just missing people only there, 117.2 and 117.3. So we got Andy Ship going out for his outlap as well as Rian Pore.
Yes, Dean and Neil have chosen to stay in the pits here. I think they used extra soft tyres possibly to get through. Maybe they're waiting. So I know certainly Neil did. I'm not sure about Dean, but they have decided to stay in the pits for their laps. Now Matt Anderson here in the Alfa Romeo made a mistake in his first lap, so he chose to abandon it. That's why he's done a 1:23.4. Let's see what he can do this time. He's at 1.2 seconds up, but it was the final sector because he lost a lot of time. So he should be pretty happy with that. 1.2 seconds
Dean's
up.
Gone
What
out
can
of
he
his
do?
garage, and Neil hasn't got out yet. Yep, but Andy Ship crossing the line to start his following lap, and Rian Pore doing the same as well. So
yes, and Andy's teammate now coming across the line. What can he do? He's been pretty quick all weekend, but he only goes 5th on a 17.5. But we've seen him once again, aren't we, from the racing points? They were so quick in Q2. Yes, they were on the medium soft tyres, but even in Q1 they were quite quick. When it comes to Q3, I think the pressure just seems to be getting to them.
Yep. Okay, so we got Rian Pore setting a lap time now. Oh, he spins! Ooh,
he's
almost there. Ooh, that is a massive. That is a massive chance of oversteer. That is. He oversteered around 3 times during that. He spinned out on the apex of the corner, then onto the grass he overstints that, and that's definitely his lap void.
Yeah, I mean, he
seemed
did
very,
very
scary
well
from
there to
him.
keep that out of the wall, didn't he? I mean, normally when we see people spin at turn 4, they go heading straight for the wall. But well done. It's not hit the wall, but unlucky.
Yeah, from the podium finisher, Rian Flore, that was a scary. That looked like a very, very, very like butt clenching moment there. So, especially with three,
Indeed, it did.
yeah, three types of oversteers there as Dean crosses the line to start his first flying lap of the session, and Andy Ricard goes out for his out lap as well.
Yes, and Andy's only done an 18.4, so I don't think it was a perfect lap from him. He's only got 5. Oh, he's getting in people's way a little bit there. One of the, I think that was Dean. He might have just got out of the way of Dean. But right. Dean now on his first flying lap. He's very good first sector. Ooh, bit of oversteer. Nearly connected it into the wall.
Yeah, same
yes, so both Red Bulls look to be struggling a bit with oversteer here in this race. But let's see what he can do through the rest of the lap. Coming through the S's. I mean, a lot of the time the Red Bull does look as if it's turning quite well. Just occasionally just gets the odd bit of oversteer.
Yeah,
and both seem to have a good middle sector as well.
Yeah, very good
middle sector as well. So he's on the pace. So I've seen a few drivers over the weekend say that Dean could be one to watch. He seems very, very quick. A few drivers saying how quick he is. Let's see if he can convert that into a good lap time here as he comes across the line. And he does a 1:17.1 to go second. So he's on the front row at the moment.
Yeah, most
so
cars
it's Ken
going
from Dean. That is row 1 at the moment with Ricard 3rd, Pete Polini 4th, Derek 5th. He'll be very pleased to be right on the pace with his teammate. Matt Anderson is 6th at the moment for Alfa Romeo. Michael Savage is 7th. Andy Shipp is 8th. And then we've got Neil and Rian Flore yet to set a lap time. Neil is on his lap now. So it looks like just one shot at this for Neil. As he comes down into turn 2.
His flying lap as well as Ricard, who's now at the end of sector 1. Okay, not getting as much oversteer as both Red Bulls. Definitely. Yeah, he seems to have this lap under control right now.
Oh, and Neil's just caught the curb. Somehow just about corrects it. Was the famous curb up at turn 5. He just about.
Yeah, the flag to sector 2. Who could that be?
And
Andy Shipp is spun again. Andy Shipp spun again. I think that's the same corner as Rian Flore was having understeer. Yeah, and I can confirm.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is. So.
And Neil's abandoned his lap.
So
yes, a lot of drivers spinning here, aren't they? It's incredible the amount of spins we've seen in qualifying so far.
Oh, Andy Shipp is spun again. Okay. Yeah, Andy Shipp has just spun again. That's nice from him, and he seems to be struggling to get back on track properly. Anyway, so
thing is with these cars, isn't it? Spin can breed spins, can't it? So you get overheated rear, and he's gone again. He's got overheated rear tyres, and it's just spitting him into the wall. That's the problem here. You get the tyres get too hot from one spin. You try and take another corner
as Derek spins out as well on the same corner. This is what's happening to all these drivers. They keep spinning out on that left kink. Yeah, Derek just spun into the corner as well, just looking at.
And I think he's got some damage as well. Yes, he has. The left front side of his front wing has gone, so he will have to stop. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have enough time to get back in the pits either. So and get back out again. So only 2.5 minutes to go.
Okay, I'm looking at Rian Flore. He goes a bit more carefully into that little left kink after sector 1. So.
Yes, he's one of only 2 to set a lap time. I don't think Neil, they're going to have to send him out now, really, aren't they, Neil, if they're going to get him out on track. Yeah, Rian Flore going through the middle centre. He's given up on this lap.
Yeah,
his ERS has been turned off.
Yeah, it seems like lots of drivers giving up on their laps right now. So this will be interesting as Michael Savage goes through the final
And Neil
corner.
is going out now.
Yeah, as Michael Savage, his teammate, going across the line, he doesn't improve it by 1 second. I think his proper lap time is going now. Rian Flore going slowly. going to start preparing himself for a third flying lap of the session. So, this is definitely interesting. Ken seems to be
Neil's going to have to
very,
nail
very
this
comfortable
outlap.
here.
He's only got...
Ken-
Neil's going to have to nail this outlap. He's only got 90 seconds to get himself back round to start his lap. Ryan Fourie, the last person to set a lap time. Top three all now on outlaps. Pete Polini's not going to have enough time, so he at best is going to be fourth. The same for his teammate Derek. At best, they're going to be fourth and fifth there, the two Ferraris. Matt Anderson is out. Michael Savage is out. Andy Ship, well, he's given up on qualifying, it seems. He is at best going to be eighth. Feel a bit sorry for him. He's had a difficult qualifying so far.
I do have to say that Ken with a 116.5, 6 tenths faster than Dean. It's probably 7 tenths faster actually than Dean. So this is definitely interesting with Ken as Ricardo crosses the line to start his line lap as well. So with Matt and Michael Savage going for the final corner to end his chances of any qualifying on the best spot. He doesn't improve by what, 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Neil's, I think, made a mistake somewhere because he's not. Oh no, he was on his outlap. Sorry, I apologise. Yes, he has made it through. Ryan Fourie coming through the last corner. Where is he going to go? He's only going to have one shot at this. Ryan Fourie goes fourth. On a 17-2. Look how close it is, though, that midfield.
It's raining a little bit, I have to say. It's raining a little bit, slightly, I can tell. So, it's not enough to affect the driver's lap times, but it's definitely raining a little bit. Anyhow, so we've got Dean passing the second last corner into the very, very, very long right-hander of the last corner, activating DRS now to cross the line to a 116.6. That's not enough to beat Ken. Ken is 1/10 faster than him. We have
Ricard's improved but stays third. I'm riding on board with Neil. I'd say he's raining quite a lot actually out there.
Yeah,
it really is coming down quite heavy, so they might be struggling a little bit here. As we're on board with Neil through the final corner, can he? Well, he hasn't set a lap time yet, so he's going to improve as he goes fourth. What a lap from Neil!
What a lap time from him.
That's a stunning lap. Ryan Fourie's given up here, but what a lap from Neil in the racing point to go into fourth place. So everyone else now has given up. Ryan Fourie's given up on his lap. So the grid is Ken in the Toro Rosso. On pole once again. I think he was on pole in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Dean is second. Ricard third for Haas. Fourth. What a lap from Neil in the racing point. Ryan Fourie fifth. Pete Polini sixth in the Ferrari. Literally just ahead of his teammate Derek in seventh. He'll be delighted with that for his first race. Matt Anderson eighth for Alfa Romeo. Ninth for Michael Savage. And a difficult qualifying means 10th place for Andy Ship. But again, look how close it is between fourth and ninth. Just over 4/10 of a second. Less than half a second between those 6 cars. Is incredibly close.
Yeah, definitely. So, after an amazing Q3, we have Ken first, Dean second, Ricard third, Neil fourth with a stunning lap at the end of the qualifying session. Ryan Fourie fifth, people only sixth, Derek seventh, and just waiting for scoreboard to show up. So once again, Ken with amazing qualifying going on there with pole. So we got Matt 8th, Michael Savage 9th, and Andy Ship in 10th after giving up on qualifying at the very end. So very, very strong qualifying sessions from Ken and Dean, almost 3/10 away from Ricard. So what do you think of that qualifying session, Matt?
Well, I mean, it's a stunning lap from Neil, got to say. I mean, Ken, once again, he always seems to produce the pace, doesn't he, in qualifying, and right up there. But I'm pleased for Ricard. He's had a couple of difficult races. Hopefully, this time he can keep himself out of trouble. Third on the grid. He's had a few very, very difficult races in the last couple. Been involved in first lap accidents. So hopefully for him, he can now get a good strong result. So we're here at the Hungary, which is nicknamed the City of Bars. It's got 450 public spas, and it's also for home to the world's first official wine region, which dated back to the 5th century. The racetrack here is 2.272 miles, 2 DRS zones, one along the pit straight and one between turns 1 and 2. We've got 14 corners. The 3 tyre compounds to look out for is the C4, the C3 and the C2. The soft, the mediums and the hards. They say that the soft tyres will do about 8 to 10 laps. What we saw in X1 earlier on, that you're lucky to get 6 or 7 out of them, to be totally honest. Take a look out for the action zones as well. Turn 1, we saw the brilliant pass of Ayrton Senna around the outside of PK back in 86. Reef-profiled the corner since then as well to encourage overtaking. And yes, look out for a couple of other places around the lap where people may go for it. The tight chicane, turn 5 and 6, people may go for it as well. It's 21 seconds for a pit stop round here, so have a look out for that in the gaps between the cars later on.
Yeah, so this will definitely be interesting, as the starting grid, it looks like, will be Ken is first on pole, the Danish the driver in the Toro Rosso in first, Dean second in Red Bull, Rickard after a strong qualifying from him third, wants to get out of trouble today. Neil in fourth, amazing qualifying session from him. Rian 4 in fifth, Pete Poloni in sixth. Wants to be up there after, but is starting on the medium tyre, other than Rian 4 and Neil. Derek 7th, Matt 8th, 9th is Michael Savage, 10th is Andy Ship, 11th is Chris Allen, who will definitely want to be climbing up the grid today after his win in Germany. Scott is 12th with that Germ in 13th. Bryce Faulkner with a disappointing qualifying in 14th. 15th is Thomas Edwards. 16th is Fraser McKenzie. 17th is Kieran Knight. 18th is John. And 19th is David Edgar. And it seems like Mr. Shmee, Johnny Davis, seems to be having trouble, as David Edgar has been disqualified from the session, with John having a 5-place grid penalty which has been applied, and now he's down in 18th.
Yes, not quite sure what happened with David Edgar there in qualifying, why he was disqualified. Maybe we'll try and find out later on. But look out for him. He's had good pace in all the races that we've seen so far. So look out for him fighting his way back through the fields as well.
Yeah, I'm just asked a question inside the Xtreme Racing League chat, and it seems like one of the viewers saying that Matt might win the race today. What do you think about that?
Well, it's possible. He certainly got good speed. It's all going to be, as we've seen the last couple of race weekends, just get through the first couple of corners and see where you are. Because there's been so many incidents and accidents in that first couple of corners at each of the last few races. Who knows what's going to happen? The weather report is looking a bit overcast. Apparently it is going to stay dry from what I can gather, and possibly even brighten up as the race goes on. So weather shouldn't play an impact here.
Ken and Dean going to the 116s, very very fast around here. But considering strategies, Neil and Rian Fori are both on soft tyres, while most of the top 10 are on mediums. What do you think that's going to affect their race tonight?
Well, they'll be quick off the start, but it will all be depending on how long they can get those soft tyres to last. I mean, we've seen from the previous races, the cars who started on the soft tyres, they were quick for the first few laps and then just faded away badly. We had Michael Booker in the last race saying that even after 17 laps of the 35 lap race, he was still setting lap times comparable to his best in the race. So I think the medium tyres are definitely the tyre to be on here.
Yeah, definitely. From what I can gather, it seems that The top three are starting in mediums, with Neil starting in softs and Rio Roy as well. Pete Poloni, Derek, and Matt going on the mediums as well, but with Michael Savage and Andy Ship both on the soft tire in the top 10. So this will definitely be interesting for strategy. So,
And the other interesting thing is look at the 11th and 12th place as well. CJ in the McLaren starting on hard tyres, and Scott in the Mercedes starting on the soft tyres, as is Fraser McKenzie down in 16th place. He's starting on the soft tyres, and David Edgar at the back is starting on hards. Everyone else is on the mediums, but that's going to be interesting. David Edgar obviously going for the long game, as likewise CJ, but look out for Scott as well from 12th on the grid on those soft tyres. Also Fraser McKenzie. Let's see how quickly they can work their way up through the field on those soft tyres.
yep, as people are starting now to ready up. So, we are 20-second
Here we go.
countdown.
Session's about to start.
Yep, 20-second countdown to start the 5 lights. So this will be interesting. We saw in Germany there was drama on the first lap. So, counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So here we go, 5 lights are on, it's lights out, and away we go. It's a good start once again from Ken as they come down toward turn 1. He's a great good start from Ken. Neil's up to 3rd place.
Yeah, Dean's got the inside line.
And Dean's up the inside, and Dean takes the lead, and Neil's trying to get involved as well. Look at Neil up the inside. Neil's up into 2nd place. There's an accident at the back. There's a Red Bull involved. I think it's Ryan Forey once again involved.
There is a bit of
big accident at the back, but Dean has taken the lead, and Neil's gone around the outside now trying to go for the lead, but Dean leads. Neil is 2nd, Ken is 3rd. There's a big
Michael
accident
Savage
down
crashed.
at
Michael
turn 1.
Savage crashed. He's crashed. He's lost his front wing. And Rio Evolved. Oh! Look at Rio Forey. There was a massive crash with Andy Ship and Rio Forey. There is a lot of contact between those. But look out front. There is a lot of spins going on. By Sprinkler. Pete Poloni also crashing out, losing his front wing as well. So look at the front. He's still got 6 tenths between the top 3. And wow, that is wow. He's got
and start of the race, no doubt about it. David Edgar up into 7th place. He started at the back, and he's obviously kept himself out of trouble. Oh, nearly contact there between Ken and Neil, and the Red Bulls run right. Neil's trying to go around the outside. Neil takes the lead in the racing point. Neil into the lead. Dean ran wide, bit of contact from Ken on Neil, but Neil has pounced and into the lead on those soft tyres. It's Neil from Dean, from Ken. Rickard is still 4th. Jeremy's had a good start as well in the Mercedes up to 5th. Likewise, Scott up to 6th, and now Scott's going to try and go through.
Kenzie catching up to John. Okay, John is going past his teammate right now, and he overtakes him. He overtakes him to 10th place. Great pass from Fraser McKenzie.
Yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's Michael Savage going backwards as well. But what a start from David Edgar. He's up into 7th place on the first lap in that Renault. CJ up into 8th. The 2 cars on the hard tyres. Oh, and Dean's made another mistake. And Ken has gone. Now Ken runs wide. Now Ken runs wide. He had 2nd and Ken ran wide. But Neil, look at the gap on those soft tyres. I said look out for him at the start. Neil leads by 1.5 seconds. Dean is hanging on to 2nd from Rickard. Ken has dropped back to 4th. Scott is in there now on those soft tyres in that Mercedes. He's 5th. Jeremy is 6th.
Kieran Knight letting everyone go. I think he spun out as well. Fraser McKenzie having a great
once
start,
again, action all over the place here.
Great start from
yes.
the 2 Mercedes, David Edgar and Fraser McKenzie. Fraser McKenzie gaining up 8 positions with David Edgar the biggest winner here, ending up in 7th after starting the hard tire. Hard tire will definitely give him the best strategy possible. As you see Neil pulling away from Neil is pulling away from
1.4 second lead, and Dean's now being stretching away from Rickard. Neil runs a little bit wide, but I don't think I've ever seen Neil leading the race before. So this will be a new experience for him.
Yep. So the closest battle right now is Derek. And Kenzie spun. Kenzie spun with Derek. As Derek goes through the lot, and he loses positions quite fast, Kenzie and Derek. That's really sad. But look at
Fraser, he had another good start and was
Look at John gaining 10 positions after a 5 days grid penalty from him. Amazing stuff from him.
Yeah, it's up
And
into ninth place.
David
CJ's now just got...
David Egger's spun on the
Oh.
left pink once again. There is a still... He has to be careful not to hit any drivers. So
it's vital for Neil right now to get himself out in front as far as he can. He will be stopping earlier than everyone else, there's no doubt about it, on those soft tyres. But Neil now's got a 2-second lead. There's a good battle developing. Another yellow flag. I think that's Kieran Knight again.
Yep,
but another yellow. Yes, we got Dean and Rickard with Ken very, very close together. On to lap 3. This is where the DRS is enabled. But Neil,
the biggest winner so far right now,
has got a 2.2 second lead at the end of the 3rd lap. What a start from Neil, from 4th on the grid. We saw that brilliant qualifying lap he put together, and at the moment he's converted it to the race lead. We've got Dean 2nd, Rickard 3rd, and Ken 4th. Ken getting very close to the back of Rickard. Bit of a gap then back to Scott in 5th. He's dropped back a little bit now in that Mercedes, just ahead of his teammate. CJ's up to 7th in the McLaren. And there's a mistake by someone. I think that is
John.
Someone's falling down the order.
It's John.
Yes, John. He's dropped back. He was up in the top 10. He's now dropped back to 14th. Will he see Andy Ship coming through on the inside of him? Yes, he does. Gives him the
Look
space.
at the battle for
And
second place, though. The battle for second place is getting
that's
really
all hopping
close.
up.
The closest battle right now. Look at Andy Ship against James John. James John spinning out as James Josh goes wide. Andy Ship on the
And David Edgar into the pits.
Yeah,
yes, David Edgar pits in the Renault. He's having a difficult weekend. I think Ryan Forey has also come in as well.
As James John
very, very close between them.
As Andy Ship overtakes him. Okay, look at that Matt. He's catching up to Thomas Edwards. Thomas Edwards a bit slowly. I think he might be. Matt is. Both of them are on the medium tyre. Matt and Thomas Edwards. Thomas Edwards goes wide through the final corner as Matt gains up on him with DRS. DRS with overtake mode. Very, very easy move on Thomas Edwards.
Yes, and we're already seeing the effects of those soft tyres fading away because Neil's now lost about 3 or 4 tenths of his lead. The gap down to 1.8 seconds. And I think those soft tyres are starting to fade already. We're on lap 5. This is about what we saw in the X1 race.
We can't have a bit of
it was about lap 5 we started seeing them starting to fade. Another yellow flag, not quite sure. I think that's Jeremy got off.
And yes, Jeremy's gone off as Matt gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So Jeremy going off as well.
Very close in the battle for 3rd. Rickard with Ken swarming around behind him all over the place, trying to find a way through. Is he going to go for a lunge here? I've seen it done before, not quite. He's backed out of it, but Rickard and Ken very, very close together as Dean now sending off after Neil once again. The gap down to just over a second now. But Ken is so close to the back of Rickard, and Rickard won't have DRS either. So this could be a good time for Ken to pounce and come onto the pit straight.
Yep, Ken's got overtake.
Ran a little bit wide, but I think he might just have a go. Rickard's going defensive. He thought, well, he thought about it. There is another DRS zone here, but you've got to get the traction right out of turn 1 to be able to make that stick. And Rickard taken to the grass there on the run down to turn 2. Just about got away with it. So top 10, Neil still leads by just over a second out from Dean. Rickard is 3rd, just ahead of Ken. We've got Scott 4th, CJ 5th. Scott is 5th, CJ is 6th, Jeremy is 7th. Matt Anderson is 8th in the Alfa Romeo. Thomas Edwards is 9th, and Derek is in 10th in the Ferrari. As Fraser McKenzie pits in the Williams. We saw him spin earlier on, and he's now dropped to 50th, and probably drop a little bit lower, probably 16th. Yes, Michael Savage has gone through, as he's gone on to a set of medium tyres.
He's already catched up to him as you're saying that by half a second. He's about half a second away from Neil now. As we can see, the soft tyres going off right now. There is still a battle for the last podium position in 3rd. Ken and Rickard. Ken, of course, getting pole position.
And Neil pits.
Neil pits.
Neil into the pits from the lead. End of lap 6. Well, yeah, I mean, he was about to be overtaken, I think, there anyway. So Dean moves into the lead. Rickard moves into 2nd. Still got Ken swarming all over behind him. Is Kenny been close enough? This time he thought about it. He had feigned a little look up the inside, but not quite close enough. That Haas does seem to be good in a straight line. And this is just about keeping Ricard in front. Neil has come out of the pits in 7th position. Jeremy's just gone past him.
And just missing out on the Alfa Romeo of Matt. So it seems
As
that
Andy also pits from 12th.
Neil's going with a medium tyre, which suggests he's definitely going for a 2-stop. So this will definitely be interesting. As Ken, there is still a battle between the second place between Ricard and Ken. They're still closing up to each other by half a second now, 7/10. So as Andy Ship pits, and so people are already starting to go pitting right now on the soft, and just going out on the hard tyre compound rather than Neil going out on the medium compound tyre. It seems that
yes,
Ken
the only person on the soft tyre so far that's still going is Scott. But look at, I'm just looking at him now, really struggling for grip. Surely he's going to pit this time. Yes, he does. So he was up to 4th, but is struggling so much for grip. Even in the pit lane, he's getting a lot of understeer. So he pits from 4th, which promotes CJ Allen,
Look
who
at the
started
battle between
11th.
6th and 7th, in the last corner. There's a freeway battle for
Yes,
7th.
Neil's got to stay ahead of Jeremy. He's only just made a stop. So this is crucial for Neil's race. He's got to stay ahead of Jeremy and start pulling away.
As Neil goes defensive, as Jeremy tries to go for the bare traction line, and as the arrow is activated, don't forget Matt right behind him as well. As Jeremy does that, he goes down the inside. No, he doesn't. Ooh,
just about. Look at this little battle though. We've got Neil, Jeremy, Matt Anderson, Thomas Edwards, and Derek all in here. This is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. They're all almost line astern.
As Jeremy gets a penalty.
Gets a penalty. There's nearly contact. How did Neil avoid that? Jeremy cut the corner and got a lot better drive. We saw him get the penalty. And Thomas Edwards has spun. Thomas Edwards spins at the chicane. I just saw it in the background. He caught the curb on the inside of the right hand of the chicane a bit too hard, and he's now spun round.
Still looking at the battle between Jeremy, Neil, and Matt. So this will be very, very, very interesting for the battle of 5th now, since Scott pitted on the medium tyre. All 3 of them are
Neil's got to stay ahead of Jeremy here. For his own race, he's got to stay ahead of Jeremy and start pulling away. He can't afford to get sucked into this battle, and he is just edging that gap out. He's a second now, so he can now start pulling away. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ricard has just picked away at the lead of Dean. It's now down to less than a second, and he's dragged Ken with him. So we could see a 3-way fight for the lead here. We've got Dean, Ricard, and Ken at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and they're all pretty much. Mistake from Ricard, drops him back a little bit, and Ken's going for it up the inside, is he? Not quite thought about it, but backed out of it at the last second. He sort of feigned a few moves, not quite made anything stick yet. CJ's had a quiet race so far, but he's up into 4th place on those hard tyres, so he's having a good race. Definitely, and he'll be going a long way on those tyres as well. A long way into this race.
Yeah, he looks like he'll be pitting on medium CN, so it will give him a boost against the other guys on medium or soft tyres. So,
well, I mean, on the hard, he could probably go on to softs at the end if he goes far enough into the race, which would make him very, very quick at the end.
Look at the DRS between Ken and Ricard. Ken seems to be a bit too far away.
I think Kieran's off. I think Kieran is off. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. Yes, it's Kieran in the infamous turn 5 curb.
David Edgar is also off as well.
A lot of curb there. So, and he's now got Pete Pellini. He's having a quiet race actually. Pete Pellini. He started in 8th place.
And Matt is actually catching up to him very, very, very fast. Jeremy go late braking into turn 1.
There's contact between Pete Pellini and Kieran Knight in the battle for 14th. Pete tried to throw it up the inside. Kieran shut the door, and right behind them is Rian Fori as well. These are the early stoppers.
There is a three-way battle between Derek, Matt, and Jeremy for 6th place. Very, very close battle once
Yes,
again
and
for
Ken
6.
still snapping at the
There's
heels
contact!
of
There's contact between Matt and Jerry.
well, that's been threatening for a while, I think, that one. As Pete Leedy finally makes it past. Yeah, Pete Leedy finally makes it past Kieran. As Ken still snapping at the heels of Rickard here in the fight for second place. Dean's composed himself a little bit and stretched the lead back out to a 2.5 seconds. Ken now back in the DRS, back in the slipstream. Can he make a stick? I have to say, hats off to CJ there in 4th place. He's just about chipping away at that gap. It was just under 10 seconds. It's now about 9.5. So he's just chipping away at that gap, and he's started on those hard tyres, and he's doing a fine job there in 4th place. Neil is just about closing the gap. He's now 4 seconds ahead of Jeremy, so he did stay ahead, and he has pulled away. Be interesting to see where Neil comes out when it all shakes out.
Between Derek and Matt. Derek has overtaken him, so into turn 1. So this will definitely be interesting. There's still a 3-way battle between 6th, 7th, and 8th. All of them both within a 3 to 2 second vicinity of each other, as Scott is catching up to the 3 cars, so it could be a 4-way battle for 6, who knows. So exciting race so far.
And Rickard is closing back up. Rickard is closing back up again on the leader. So Rickard still hasn't given up on this yet. We've got Dean, Rickard and Ken separated by less than 2 seconds, and he's toing and throwing up the front there. They're 1 minute Dean's pulling away, then Rickard starts coming back, but everything Rickard does, he's dragging Ken along with him. So this is a great fight up front. It's really about a question of who makes a mistake first, I would think, and also could be down to strategy. We're on lap 12 of the race. The medium tyres, we think, will probably go to about lap 17 or 18 quite comfortably.
Yeah,
so
I'm just looking at the battle between 6, 7, 8 and now 9th. All 4 cars very, very, very close to each other. However, none of them are
Scott will be keen to get past that lot. He's just not long made a pit stop and has come out behind them. Of course, he started on the soft tyres, of course, so he will be desperate to get past them as quickly as possible. He doesn't want them ruining their race. Neil is just as picking away at the gap to CJ, as well as John in the pits. He was running 14th, so that's his 2nd pit stop of the day as well.
I would still be focusing on 7th, 8th, 9th, and 7th, 8th, 9th, and 6th as well. It seems very, very close. People, of course, Sector 2 is a very, very narrow part of this course. Very, very hard to overtake through around these. Of course, dirty air also affecting, as we can see from Matt going a bit wide through there. So, yeah, I think Matt is now feeling the effects of tyre wear on the medium tyre now. He's been on it for 11 laps, and Scott is only on 4 lap old medium, so he's definitely going to catch up to the rest of the group here. See Scott's first
now
target.
There's just a 1.5 seconds separating the top 3. They are really getting close up front, and they've got a back marker. That's John, who's just come out the pits. He's running last at the moment. He's gone off track to let them. Oh, so nearly connected again, man. How did he avoid that? But
hot lap, and Scott is going to go past Matt Anderson, as well as Jeremy trying to defend from Derek. Derek going on the outside, and Derek doesn't go past Jeremy. Scott's next target is either Derek or Jeremy. Jeremy having a hard time with the medium tyre, as the Ferrari slowing down, and this is going to be difficult. Have a look at the top 3 as well. They're both catching up together within 2 seconds of each other. I'm also looking at Thomas Edwards as well. Thomas Edwards being
top 3 are really fighting. Top 3 are really fighting with each other here. They're toing and throwing. They're back and forth, close to each other. Dean keeps getting a lead, then falling back again. And this is the closest Ken's been. Can he have a run down into turn 1? He's closing up, but that Haas is so good in a straight line. You've seen that is what is keeping Rickard in 2nd place at the moment. It's that straight line speed of that Haas, because Ken looks faster at the moment, looks a little bit more under control. Rickard seems to be fighting the car a little bit more, As this
There
is
is
the
a battle
look,
between
they come
6th,
onto the
7th
pit
and
straight.
8th
This is the
once
battle
again.
for 6th.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeremy with Derek right behind him. And
Derek
right
with-
behind that is
Derek
Scott,
and
and right behind that is
Derek
Matt
goes
Anderson.
round the outside. He tries to go round the outside of Jeremy. Jeremy, very, very close as Jeremy defends on the inside line. Once again on the armrest, however,
Yes, and
Derek.
Scott tried to pounce. This is the two Mercedes could be trying to work together here a little bit, because but Scott needs to get through because he's not long made a stop. So he does need to get through as quickly as possible. Maybe Jeremy's holding up Derek for as long as he can to ensure that Scott can get through. And a little way behind that is Bryce Faulkner having a quiet race, but he's up into the top 10 now after a difficult qualifying. As here comes Scott now, having a look up the inside, nearly made it through, but just about decided to back out of that one. So we've got Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, but not where we normally expect them.
Ken goes into the pits.
Yes, as does Dean.
Rickard goes
so first and third pit, Rickard stays out. So that's an interesting move there. Rickard now needs to do the best hot lap he can, in-lap that he can. CJ moves up into second. I'm just wondering where Neil is going to be in comparison. Don't forget, Neil was in the lead of the race as Thomas Edwards gets a penalty. And here we go. It's going to be close. Neil's going around the outside. Dean's got the inside. Dean's come out on the hard tyres. Yeah. And I think he's just about going to hang on.
Look at
he hasn't. Neil's got a great run out of turn 1. And Neil's down the inside into turn 2. And Neil reclaims the position. Can Dean hang on around the outside? Yes, he can. Backed out of it in the end. And Neil just about gets back ahead of Dean, but we're pretty sure Neil's going to have to pit again. Dean doesn't. Dean's gone onto the hard tyres. They will see him to the end. Neil on those mediums hasn't quite made the progress he was expecting despite having some clear traffic, and comes out in pretty much the same position as he was in before the pit stop. So Rickard now leads by 10 seconds from CJ. Neil with Dean snapping his heels. Ken is a couple of seconds back. He's lost a little bit of ground as Rickard now pits.
Scott went on the grass. Matt's getting an easy pass on Scott. Scott making a mistake out of the chicane. Very, very easy to make a mistake there.
Yes, now this is going to be the interesting one. CJ takes the lead now in the McLaren. Rickard in the pits. Here comes Neil round the final corner. He's going to have Dean for company, and they've got Rickard coming out of the pits just in front of them as well. So Neil's going defensive. They do get past Rickard. There's Rickard coming out of the pits. Dean trying to go around the outside once again, but he saw in the last lap how much grip Neil had out there, but not quite. As Matt Anderson pits, as does Derek in the Ferrari. Those two into the pits. So that lifts Jeremy up to 6. Will he now let his teammate go on much fresher tyres? You'd think the two Mercedes might work together like that. But CJ now has an 8.5 second lead. How far can he go into this race? Because with these two...
Matt has replaced his front wing. I think he had front wing damage most likely. I saw him struggling going through this second last corner in the final corner, so maybe that's what it was. Now Matt is on a hard tyre.
And fabulous battle going on for second here. We've got Neil, Dean, Rickard, Ken, all very close together. But CJ here with a 9-second lead. How far into the race can he go? Because if these four start fighting each other and taking time off each other, he could just about start stretching his lead out a little bit. 21 seconds roughly for a pit stop, don't forget. He's got a 9-second lead at the moment, but who knows what might happen with these four. They are so close together. But again, Rickard just doesn't seem to be able to live with Dean. Falling back again, and Neil weaving down the pit straight a little bit, trying to break the toe. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, not quite sure why, and this time Dean is going to go for up the inside. Neil saw it too late. Dean braked very, very late. Dean braked way too late for that corner and has now lost third to Rickard as well. As Scott gets his teammate, they have Jeremy Pitts, so Neil maintains second place. It was a bit reckless there from Dean, who's now behind Rickard.
That was very, very reckless from Dean.
Heading there as well. Here we go again up into turn 4.
Dean wisely.
Dean does get a penalty there.
Yeah, Dean wisely backing out of that corner. As Jeremy comes out in 10th, right at the battle between Michael Savage and Derek. Still looking at the battle between 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. So definitely will be interesting. We've got Rickard on one lap on a very fresh set of hard tyre. Neil on 10 lap old softs, and both Dean and Ken on 2 lap old hards.
Yes, and CJ is doing a great job. He's actually just stretching his lead out. It was about 8.5. It's now up to nearly 9. As round 4 he gets a penalty. So CJ doing a fine job here. He is stretching his lead out on those hard tyres, yet to stop. Now, here we go again. Here comes this time it's Ricard on Neil. Neil goes defensive. We know how good that's in the straight line that pass is.
Neil goes
but Neil's got the inside line. Ricard's going to try and hang on. Neil spun! Neil spun, touching wheels there through turn 2 and through turn 1. And that spun Neil round. He's had such a good run up there, but it's come to an end, I'm afraid. He's dropped back down to 5th. So the battle still goes on. We've got Ricard, Dean and Ken. But yes, I mean, Neil tried to hang on. Ricard squeezed him a little bit, and they touched wheels. And whenever that happens, the guy on the inside. Now Ricard spins. Ricard spun in that infamous turn 5. He caught the curb, and now he has spun, and I think he's got front wing damage as well. Well, it's all going on here. Who knows who's going to win this race, but it's all happening. Meanwhile, CJ's now got a 10-second lead. He's taken about, and there's a virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car.
Well, if I was CJ, I would pit now. If I was CJ, I would pit right now, and I think he is, as he's really pushing into the last corner. Is CJ going to pit? Yes, he does. So this could be crucial for the race. And there's a drive. Yes, Pete Bellini speeding under the safety car. So this could be crucial here, because of course you save so much time pitting now under the virtual safety car with the cars going around slower than you would do. I think they are still going to get through. They're coming onto the pit straight now, but CJ is going to be a lot closer to them. There we go.
However. So Ken goes down the inside of Dean. Dean trying to go defensive on the outside as Ken goes past for the lead, but that's not the end. However, as Dean tries to catch up to Ken and Dean wisely doesn't go defensive into the second corner.
Yes, and brilliant from Ken. That was opportunist. He waited to the end of the virtual safety car and then went for it. But I would say look out for CJ now. He's in 4th place. He's less than 2 seconds behind Neil, and he's on brand new medium tyres. Everyone ahead of him is either on very old mediums or hard tyres, so he could bring himself.
Look at the battle between 7th, 8th and 9th. As oh my gosh, the Ferrari knocking out the Ferrari and the Mercedes trying to go round the outside of Mike Savage. Yeah, so very close battle. I think the
and that's Dean spun. Dean has spun in turn 12, and past goes. Past has gone Neil and CJ, but a little bit of curb, and that has cost him Dilly. Now Ricard's gone back past. I don't know if he's got front wing damage.
Derek's gone as well. It's all kicking off here. Oh my god.
It is, yes, there is front wing damage on that Red Bull. He's going to have to pit, as is Ricard as well. So the pair of them pit, and up into 4th place comes Scott.
Jeremy's retired from the session. What happened to him? Have a look at Andy's shit right now. What's happened to Jeremy?
I think he spun coming out of the chicane there.
Yes,
I think that's what's happened. Yes, he spun. He has spun coming out of the chicane, and that is the end of the race to Jeremy. Not a great qualifying, and now he is out of the race. It's all happening everywhere, isn't it? But Ken now has a 4-second lead over Neil, who we think is going to have to pit again. Neil has got CJ all over the back of him. CJ on those brand new soft tyres, and CJ's going to have a little look down the inside of the chicane, backs out of it at the last minute. But Scott is up to 4th. Michael Savage is having a good race again. He's up into 5th ahead of Pete Bellini, who's got a drive-through penalty still to happen. So look out for that. Bryce Faulkner's up to 7th.
Close together.
Hardly see.
Look at the battle.
We've hardly seen Bryce Faulkner, but he's up to 7th, and here comes CJ up the inside of Neil. No, Neil defends it. CJ backs out of it. But Bryce Faulkner, like I said, we haven't seen him, and he's up to 7th place ahead of Dean and Ricard.
Rianfori just missed out John, who was swerving with oversteer on the left-hand kink. Once again, we saw Rianfori spin, have a long oversteer as well. So round
Yes, and
4
Neil's going straight defensive, back in the battle for second. CJ's got the run, and CJ has got to the inside, and CJ nicely takes second. Neil trying to come round the outside, but there's nothing he can do. CJ takes second position. Look out for him now. He's only done 2 laps on those medium tyres, and he's 4 seconds behind Ken on the hard compound tyres, who's done a few laps on them as well.
He spun again. He got slowed down by Bryce Vaughan. He had a ton of oversteer in the second last corner, as Thomas Edwards gets a 3 second time penalty. Oh, and Mike Savage is going to the pits, and
Michael Savage pits is a yellow flag.
People only gets to go score from the session.
Yes, I don't think he's done, as Rickard gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but I think for Pippolini, he didn't serve his penalty. He got a penalty under the safety car, and I don't think he served it.
He didn't serve it.
So that could be why he's out of the race.
Yeah, Pippolini is out of the race. That's a score for Kate.
And CJ has taken a second and a half out of Ken on just this lap so far. So very, very soon, CJ is going to be with our leader. I said look out for him as Neil pits from
Matt gets
third
another
place.
3 second time penalty. Round 4 on the, it says hot, so it clearly shows the medium compound tyre. He's been on it for 19 laps. So, and people know he's left the session, understandably. As Neil pits again, strangely pits again. Scott, meanwhile,
he started on the softs. He's done a lot. He's done 17 laps on those medium tyres. So I thought he would struggle to get to the end on them. And yes, he has pitted. But Ken now leads by just over 2 seconds from CJ. Scott somehow is up into third place. I think he might be stopping again though, because he too started on the soft tyres, and he may have to stop again. Neil has come out in 4th, Dean is 5th after all his troubles. Bryce Faulkner, what a drive from him, he's up to 6th, ahead of Rian Fori. Matt Anderson is 8th. David Edgar, again, he's sort of been up and down in this race, but he's up to 9th, and Michael Savage is 10th. Just outside of the points at the moment is Rickard from Andy Shett, Thomas Edwards, Fraser McKenzie is 14th. Derek's dropped out to 15th in the Ferrari, ahead of Kieran Knight, and John is at the back in 17th position, a long way back as well, and has been lapped by a lot of the field.
CJ Allen and Ken, however, 1.2 seconds.
Yes, just 1.2 seconds. Another 1.2 seconds on that lap. So the lead was 2.2 as they crossed the line. It was 1.1 this time, so 1. And Scott does pit. So I thought he would. I'm not quite sure where. He's going to be close with Dean, actually, is Scott. It's about 22 seconds apart. So Scott in the pits. Neil's going to go back into a podium position. Still a good result for him at the moment in third place. Started 4th. He's now up to 3rd. Does Dean? I don't think he's going to quite make it. So Scott should come out in 4th place. So that's still a good race for him. He started back in 13th, just behind his teammate, and he's up to 4th. So good drive so far from Scott. And that's with the 2-stop strategy as well.
And Matt is all over Rian Fori, because it seems like as Rickard gets the fastest lap, really determined
Rickard
to
making a point there, isn't he?
As Michael Savage concedes the position to Rickard as Rickard goes down the inside of Michael Savage.
Yes, that was the final points paying position as well there they were fighting for. So, and now there is just half a second between Ken and CJ. Then that virtual safety car worked perfectly for CJ, didn't it? And it's put him right here with CJ Ken. Has he got enough straight line speed? They're coming down towards turn 1. CJ's got the DRS open. Ken goes defensive. CJ's says, okay, fine, I'll go around the outside then. He's seen how much grip there is there, and he's done it. What a move from CJ. CJ takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ken hasn't given up yet. He's going to try and hang around the outside. There's contact. There's contact. Ken just hangs on to it, but CJ takes the lead. Well, what a drive from him so far. That was brave from him around the outside of turn 1. As Fraser McKenzie does get a penalty, he is down in 15th position at the moment. But CJ Allen, the virtual safety car has completely changed his race. He looked like possibly finishing 4th or 5th, and it came out at the perfect time. Came out just 4 seconds off the lead and has just eaten that advantage up. And now we should see him romp away with this. He's already nearly a second clear.
Rickard getting another fastest lap. as Ryan Foray
Yes,
is
he's
catching up to
four-
Bryce Faulkner, along with
Yes,
with Lewis
and
Medal.
Ricard just 4 seconds behind David Edgar in the battle for 9th place. So where can Ricard recover to? He was he was right up there at the front, made a mistake. And
As
he's
Matt
dropped
goes
back, not
round
for
the
first time.
outside of Ryan Foray. No, he doesn't. Does he do it? No, he doesn't. That was extremely close between Matt. Oh, yellow flag sector 2. Who could it be? And Ricard. Ricard spun.
Another mistake from Ricard. And he's got more front wing damage. We've seen this a lot from him in the races. He's got great qualifying speed, but he just seems to put himself under too much pressure in the races. And front wing damage, we've seen, I think every race so far, we've seen a big error from him in the race. And he's definitely not got the results that his speed has warranted, has he, really? And, well, he's in 11th at the moment, but he's tiptoeing back to the pits with a very damaged front wing. So he's going to come out almost last, I think. He might just be in front of Kieran Knight, possibly, but depends how much time he loses on this lap as well. So
look at the
CJ now 2 seconds clear up the front. Bryce Faulkner and Ryan Foray getting very close together again down into turn 2 as Ricard falls into the pits from 11th place. A penalty for Dean, he's 5th. I think that's his second penalty. It is so close here. We got
6th, 7th and 8th.
Yeah, we got Bryce Faulkner, Ryan Foray and Matt Anderson in the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. And actually as well, the interesting thing here is they're only 6 and a bit seconds clear behind Dean, who I know has got at least 2 penalties here.
As Ryan Foray gets past,
as Ryan Foray muscles his way through. I think there's been a lag there.
Yeah, might be a bit of lag there. It looked like that.
Yes, I saw him muscling past, but it's not happened. Bryce Faulkner is still 6th ahead of Ryan Foray and Matt Anderson. They are so close together and fighting hard. Ken's not giving up on this. He's closed a couple of tenths back up to CJ now. The gap back down to 1.7. It was up nearly 2 seconds a second ago. So he's not completely given up on this, but I don't think there's going to be a lot he can do. Look out for Neil as well. He's closing the gap to him very, very quickly. I don't think there's enough laps, though, for him to do it. David Edgar pits. He's done 21 laps on those medium tyres, so a good run from him. He pits from 9th position. Michael Savage goes through. I think he may still be in the points, though, David Edgar, when he comes out. He goes onto a set of softs. So look out for the pace of him later on in the race. This battle still raging here. Bryce Faulkner 6th, Ryan Foray 7th, Matt Anderson in 8th place. They are 8 seconds behind Dean, who up in 5th, and they're about 8 seconds clear of Michael Savage in the Racing Point in 9th position. So Bryce with a good race. I'm just trying to see where Bryce started. He started back in 15th. There's been an excellent race from him. Yes, of course, he failed to make it through Q1, didn't he? And then the penalty for John meant he started 15th. But he's showing he had some pace here. He's up in 6th, and he's holding off Ryan Foray brilliantly. Likewise, Matt Anderson as well. David Edgar gets another penalty.
Yep, as the Alfa Romeo, Red Bull and Toro Rosso go across to start the DRS zone and on the pit straight. We got Ryan Foray and Matt Anderson fighting each other for Bryce Faulkner. Bryce Faulkner goes a bit too far away and through the first corner. Matt Anderson goes a bit wide.
That Toro Rosso does seem to be good in a straight line. It's what's keeping him ahead, I think, really. That straight line speed of that Toro Rosso is just about keeping him ahead of Ryan Foray. Closing up on them quite quickly as well is Michael Savage. He's taken about a second and a half out of them on that last lap. So he is 9th. You might just see him occasionally popping into the background. He's 7 seconds down the road. And another penalty for Matt Anderson. I think that's his 3rd of the race so far. Yellow flag. I'll try and see if I think that's a back marker leading through the leaders. Yes, it was. It was John getting out of the way of a Ferrari. So Kieran Knight will be disappointed as well. He's down in 16th position. Ricard comes out in 15th. He's had to go to a set of hard tyres as well. He's obviously run out of any other tyres. Fraser McKenzie
is the only driver he's got for company. He's 2 seconds behind. Another yellow flag in sector 2. I think that was another back marker.
Okay, now the battle goes once again on the pitch straight with the RS once again. Bryce Ford, they're going on overtake mode. They've got all 3 cars except for Rian Foy on hot lap mode. As Matt.
Oh, and CJ spins! CJ from the leader spun! In turn 8! Incredible! He came through, he took too much curb, and he has spun it. And Ken retakes the lead. This is incredible. CJ has done such a brilliant job of hanging on to the lead, and he spins it in turn 8. And now he is 10 seconds down. Does he have the speed? He was pulling away from Ken very quickly. Does he have the speed to close that gap back down again?
Does CJ Allen have
Yes, he has. I think he did just connect with the wall. Will he have to pit, or will he try and struggle on with it? He's carrying on. So I don't know if he'll have too bad a damage. I don't really think he connected with the wall too hard, but he will be so gutted with that. He had such a brilliant drive to come through to the lead from 11th on the grid, and now all his hard work's been undone. Incredible development here. So many drivers here just seem to have their cars set up right on the edge, and they're struggling with the curbs. They really, really are. Back to this battle for 6. Bryce Faulkner is hanging on to Rian Foy. And look at Rian Foy's tyres. He's done 26 laps on this set of hard tyres. Now 27 laps on these hard tyres. So he's doing a good job. This is the closest I've seen him. Bryce Faulkner goes defensive. Can Rian Foy go around the outside? He's trying it. We've seen so many people have so much grip there on the outside, and he has maintained it. Bryce Faulkner, look at Matt Anderson trying to get involved there as well. And Rian Foy breaks nice and late and takes 6th position. Bryce Faulkner trying to hang on around the outside. Yes, he has. That's great driving from all 3 of them to avoid contact. What a piece of drive from all 3 of them. But Rian Foy just about takes 6th position. Bryce Faulkner's put up such a strong defence. But finally, Rian Foy gets past. And now Matt Anderson also trying to follow suit. He is in 8th position at the moment. And Michael Savage now less than 4 seconds behind the lot of them. So this battle is really costing them time. And Dean is catching up to Scott as well in the battle for 4th. So CJ Allen, though, has taken a second and a half out of Ken already. So CJ is pushing hard. He's got to now if he wants to have any chance. Another penalty for Matt Anderson. Taking so much curve through some of these corners, trying to keep up with Bryce Faulkner. But good drive from Rian, you've got to say. He's involved in the first corner accident, and he's made that set of hard tyres do 28 laps so far.
Will look like to go down the inside, looks like. Does he go down the inside? He does go down. Ooh, just doesn't go down the inside as Kenzie gets a 3-second time penalty. So, battle for 7th now as Rian Foy seems to be pulling away from Bryce Faulkner and Matt Anderson. So,
and Scott as well now, just with Dean just less than a second behind him. This is going to be the fight. They're on similar age tyres. They're on the same set of tyres as well. And this is going to be close in the battle for 4th. CJ is continuing to close, but I don't think he's closing quick enough.
And Thomas Edwards. Derek going past Thomas Edwards very, very easily.
Yeah, I don't think CJ's going to have enough time. I think he should really just probably down to look at consolidating his 2nd position. He will be so disappointed with that. He was pulling away in the lead under no pressure, and he makes a silly error, and it's cost him a race win. And 4 laps to go. He's got a 7-second gap to close. I don't think he's going to do it.
Bryce Faulkner.
Dean thought about a move up the inside of Scott there in the battle for 4th. Scott saw him coming, gave a bit of space on the inside. Dean runs wide through turn 1. This battle is tossing up nicely here for 4th place.
Yep, I'm having a look at between Matt and Bryce Faulkner. Bryce Faulkner seems to have the edge as Matt Anderson doesn't go down the inside. He looked like he was, but breaking at the last moment properly. So, wow, what a turn of events here. So
I know, it's been an incredible race. Top 10 very, very quickly. Ken leads by 7 seconds from CJ, with Neil 3rd. this battle for fourth between Scott and Dean. Then we've got Ryan Forey, 6th, who's pulled away from the battle between Bryce Faulkner and Matt Anderson in 7th and 8th. Michael Savage is 9th, and 10th is David Edgar. There's a yellow flag. I think Andy Schick's gone off again.
No, he's just been overtaken by Derek.
Well, it's very close between him and the Ferrari of Derek. This is the battle for 11th place, and just behind them, Thomas Edwards having another good drive in 13th position. So just outside the points, but they're still fighting hard. And Michael Savage now is joining the party for the battle for 7th place. So he's just over a second behind.
Matt is all over Bryce Faulkner, however, as they go through the second last corner to go on the pit straight once again. Bryce Faulkner saving up a lot of ERS. He's on 90% of ERS. So of course he has a lot of ERS to protect himself from the pit straight and the second straight. Okay, Matt Anderson.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And he turns it right up to the pit straight. That's the thing to do, isn't it? Save up your ERS. But this time I think Matt Anderson, and yes again, he's working for Bryce Faulkner. That's extra straight line speed from that using the ERS is keeping him ahead. He used it against Ryan Forey for a long time, and now he's using it against Matt Anderson as Fraser McKenzie pits from 15th position, going on to a brand new set of softs. So I think he's going to go for the fastest lap outside the top 10.
Matt is still all over
we haven't
Bryce
actually
Faulkner,
looked at the moment. But the fastest lap of the race is by David Edgar, but the fastest lap from outside the top 10 is Rickard at the moment in 14th position. He's on a 1:19.7. Fastest lap is a 1:19.3. That's the incredible thing. The fastest lap 1:19.3. Ken in the lead has done a 1:21.2 as his fastest lap. He's a long way off the fastest lap, but he leads the race by 6 seconds. We're on lap 33 of 35, and there's been battles up and down. There's been spins galore. And it's not over yet because Bryce Faulkner has got Matt Anderson and now Michael Savage breathing all over him. Ryan Forey's doing a brilliant job on 30-lap old hard tyres to pull away there in 6th position.
No, but look between the battle between Dean and Scott. They're super close as well as Matt catching up to Bryce Faulkner. But Bryce Faulkner saving that ERS a ton. He seems to have a very good rhythm with that ERS, however.
Yes, it is what is keeping him up there, isn't it? He is using that extra straight line speed to stay ahead, and there's nothing that Matt Anderson can do. Likewise, Michael Savage. I mean, Ryan Forey as well struggled for a long time to get through and had to muscle his way past to take that 6th position. And CJ's made another mistake, I think, because the gap is out to over 11 seconds. So that has definitely put an end now to CJ's chance of victory. Ken,
Michael Savage has catched up straight behind Matt and Bryce Faulkner. So
yeah, what a composed drive here from Ken
4-7
to be leading this race by 11 seconds. We're on the second to last lap. A yellow flag in sector 2.
It's Kieran Knight.
Yes, Kieran Knight off. So, but Ken leads by nearly 11 seconds from CJ. Neil now just four.
Bryce Faulkner spins out and has contact with Matt Anderson. That allows Mike Savage to go through to 7th.
Yes, from nowhere, Michael Savage up into 7th, and Bryce and Matt, well, that won't please either of them. And in fact, I think Matt this time does seem to have a good bit of straight line speed and simply not close enough.
Look at CJ Allen. CJ Allen's gone down to 3rd. What's happened to him? He's probably spun out.
Yes, I saw a yellow flag. I think he's gone off. Yes, it was turn 5, and he's damaged his front wing. I think he's gone off for turn 4. So CJ Allen is all fallen apart for him, hasn't he? He was leading the race.
It's the second to last. That was a penultimate lap from him. He could have got 2nd, but now he has probably had to settle for 4th. Since Scott is right behind him, this is going to be a grand slam finish.
Even 5th, I don't even think he's going to hang on to 4th here, because with Dean right in there as well. He's got front wing damage as well, as Ken has now started the final lap. He's got a 15-second lead from Neil, with CJ Allen in 3rd place. He's going to try and fight through this final lap. Can he hang on to the final podium spot here? But very quickly, driver of the day here, Joe. There's been a few good drives, but a few mistakes along the way as well. Who do you reckon for driver of the day?
It's very, very difficult. However, as Ryan Forey has contact with Scott. Scott spinning out.
Dean.
No,
Yes, that's
no,
Dean
Dean,
and
that's Dean.
Scott. It wasn't
Sorry.
Rian Fori, it was
yeah,
Dean.
Sorry, it's Dean. Sorry, it was Dean. But Dean
So they've been
out.
threatening to hit
Scott.
each other the last few laps, haven't they? And it's
Yeah.
come true now. And
Yeah,
another
yeah.
yellow flag.
What's
And
this?
CJ
was
is really struggling with his rear tyres. Look, watched him through a few corners. He's got so much oversteer through some of the corners. No wonder he's spun out a few times. But very quickly, I will just say, I think my driver of the day has got to be Neil. Yes, he's made a mistake in the race, but what a start from him to get the lead from fourth on the grid. Great qualifying as well in the first place to get fourth. And now it looks as if he's going to hang on a second as Ken has won. Ken wins in Hungary. What a drive from him. Started on pole, but had to work hard for it as Neil will be, and he's weaving down the pit straight, nearly crashing it down the pit straight. But Neil will be delighted with second place. CJ, well, he'll be so disappointed in the lead, looking strong, and he comes home third. Dean crosses the line fourth. I think there'll be a few words between him and Scott at the end of the race as well for that contact in the last couple of laps. Scott comes home in fifth. Rian Fori as well, I've got to say he's up there for driver of the day for me as well. Started with
honestly, you can't
with
forget
a crash
about CJ Allen as well for podium all the way down from 11th. You can't forget that as well.
Yeah, but a few too many errors for me, I'd say, in that. He was leading the race comfortably and he should have had that. Michael Savage crosses the line 7th, but his penalties demote him to 8th. So Bryce Faulkner comes home 7th, just ahead of Michael Savage. David Edgar 9th. Again, he crosses the line 10th, but the penalties for Matt Anderson sees David Edgar snatch 9th position from the back of the grid as well. Don't forget David Edgar. He comes home in 9th. Matt Anderson 10th. Derek in his first race, he comes home in 11th. Andy Ship 12th. There's a Williams going slowly on the pit straight. But, well, what a race.
Yeah, so I've asked the viewers who do you think is driver of the day, and a person said CJ Allen. I think Ken voted for himself. And another driver said that David Edgar for a great recovery drive from last place, and just in general amazing race. I'm gonna get the podium finishes in the chat right now, so yeah, let's see if I can get them in.
Yes, it'll be very interesting talking to the podium sitters for this race. I mean, yeah, but once again, Xtreme 2 does not fail to live up to the drama that we've seen in all the races so far this season. It's just been an incredible season with these drivers. And this race, the mistakes are plenty. So many mistakes made by a lot of drivers, especially in qualifying, and some pretty high profile ones in the race. They've got the top 3 now joining the party, and we're going to start with Ken. You took pole position, but you must be delighted with that win there. It looked like it was all going away from you when CJ got past you, so you must be delighted to come home with the race win.
Oh yeah, I was definitely not the fastest guy on track today, but everyone in front of me made mistakes, so I guess I was just lucky.
Yes, I mean, you took pole position, so you obviously weren't too slow out there. But yeah, the virtual safety car, I think, for a while looked like it was handing the race elsewhere. So, but very, very good drive from you there to come home with the race victory. Neil, you had a great start from 4th on the grid. You were in the lead by the end of lap 2, and you must be pleased with 2nd place.
Well, yeah, it's great to put some points on the board for Racing Point. I've had some serious pace in Hockenheim, but that race didn't pan out how I wanted it to. So, yeah, it's nice to have some points on the board, but I'm not pleased with this race. I've had much cleaner and really personally satisfying races in the past. So it's definitely nice to put some points on the board, but yeah, I could have had a bit cleaner race. I mean, especially in the start, great defending from Dean. I just, the first 2 laps, I'm not too happy with myself, but yeah, great race so far.
It certainly was. And CJ, we saw you there qualifying 11th place. You got yourself up into the race win, And although it's good, looks good on paper from 11th to 3rd, you must be gutted to have thrown it away in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it was absolutely devastating. Working my way up the field and then just to ruin it with a silly mistake like that. I mean, it wasn't even one of the sort of classic corners for spinning. It was, yeah, just silly. But congratulations to Ken. Good race once again. And yeah,
I mean the virtual safety car worked. The virtual safety car worked for you perfectly, didn't it? I mean, you were started on the hard, you were going long. Virtual safety car came in. Were you going to come in then anyway, or did you just sort of pit because of the virtual safety car?
Yeah, I had a couple more laps of where I was planning on pitting, so the virtual safety car was just about perfect timing for me, really.
So yeah, I mean, it was just a stunning race to watch. It really was from everyone.
Hey Matt,
I totally agree.
If it's, I just want to throw a shout out to Soccer and Ricard and Mender. They coached me. I was about 2-3 seconds off pace until 2 days ago. But yeah, it's great. I'm just so pleased to be in the league. The races have been so clean, yeah, and it's been fantastic experience.
But it certainly was a very good race. We had a brilliant qualifying on those softer tyres. So yeah, stunning race once again. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks at Belgium. You all looking forward to that race?
Oh yeah. A lot of nice
Absolutely.
making opportunities and a lot of speed.
Well, it isn't my favorite track on the grid, but I need to do some practice. I'm way off the pace on that track as well, but yeah, I'm certainly looking forward.
Excellent. So we'll see you once again there. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks.
See ya. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Well, on to the top 3. CJ Allen, I am Ken Zax, and Swifty Pickle for the podium finishers. So that was an amazing race for all 3 drivers, especially with the top 20 drivers as well. Unfortunate for Pipoloni and Pipoloni for getting that disqualification from the race. So
Yes,
wow, that was...
indeed. I think it was his penalty he didn't take. So, yeah, stunning race. Thank you very much once again for joining me and helping me in the commentary box this evening, Jar. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time after next week, because we've got a transfer window coming up, so you may see some drivers move around. So that will be interesting. I'll see you after next week. We'll see you after next week in Belgium.
You will indeed. And thank you to everyone for tuning in this evening.